This is the I Know podcast where we all about healthy debate, honest conversation, and talking beer junk. Information, knowledge, observation. This is the I Know podcast. I-N-O, information, knowledge, observation. Also, I know nothing. We got Malik Moores.
Hey.
We got Coffee.
Yo.
We got Rome in spirit.
Yeah.
And my name is Marcus Myers, and we have a very, very, very special guest. A few months ago in the paper, I was going through Barbados today, and I see this article, and it was one of the most inspiring, riveting stories about somebody that is a recovering addict and now a qualified addiction counselor. And I was like, we gotta get this man on the show though. And I call around, I call about 4 people. I saw that he is working at Verdun House as the counselor, and I called Verdun House and I was like, we need his number. So he's here right now. And I think a lot of people are gonna appreciate everything that you've been through and where you are now. So I think that we should go through first and start from the very beginning, how you got there. But anyway, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. David Waithe. Hey! Clap for yourself there, all right? So the addiction that you have goes far beyond our addiction to porn. So let's just get straight into that. Let's just get straight into that. Okay, so let's just chronicle from the very beginning so that we could all understand the journey. And I guess a good place to start would be where you first experienced, I guess, abusing substances, or when you were your introduction to substances.
That was about that was about age between 10 and 11.
Wow. 10 years in primary school?
I was going into I had just entered into secondary school. So I was in first form. And this would have been at Compromise School. Let me back up a bit. Back in the olden days, the older people, my grandmother, we used to do what we call the black cake. The black cake puts up from January and it is open up in December. During the process of January to December, what you have is that every now and then you put in a little rum, a little falernum, a little this, and you add, so that when you do the jar, it's like whoosh. My thing in those days that I used to just like, after the cake is being mixed, the rakings of the cake is what I like. So I would eat that and thing. I did not know, it used to make me feel anxious, but I didn't know that I was actually getting high in those days. However, back in, coming back now to 11 years old, entering in the community school, I used to run this group. And I used to buy a large pack of embassy, a mini half a rum.
Wait, at 11?
At 11. And a bag of weed. In those days, the marijuana used to sell in packets, like those envelopes that I normally got medication in. So when you buy a pack for $5, you got about 12, 15 joints, proper joints. So I would get out of school, and I would go up to the back, at the back of the rifle range, and then we get high. Stash, go to class, come up with lunch, get high, go back to class until the evening.
Question for you: how is that a common thing in school, or were you like one of the few people that did that?
That were we were a group of few that did that. We were the what call the whatless group.
Right.
So just y'all.
Always get in trouble.
Right.
That went on for a while. I went in coming here as an A student. Somewhere along 3 years after, I became what we call a Z student. I was like back up.
Right.
It was like work was not important.
Yeah.
Homework was not important. Get in school and get beer trouble. So they put me in school around age 14, 15.
What was the particular offense they put you over?
Grades not coming up.
Okay.
What happened is that I stood down twice. I stood down in third form.
Right.
I stood down in second form. I stood down in third form.
Okay.
So I was too old then to go up.
Okay.
So I had to go.
Right.
In the process of that, I was out for about a year and change, hustling tourists on the beach. And then I got a job as working on ships. So I started to travel the whole world.
Okay.
That's when my use then started to escalate. Every country, there were countries I'd been to that I was like, I didn't know the name of the drug. I didn't know. All my thing was to party.
Right.
What get this here going? I win. I didn't care where it come from. I didn't care what was made. I just want to get high.
So was there a gateway the party? Like somebody would say like this makes the party even better. Let's try this.
Sometimes, but many times I will go and interject. Give me. Let me try.
Oh,
Oh, you were very
You
proactive
understand?
with
Yeah,
it.
I
Okay.
always. I'm a very. I'm very
Assertive.
as what people call gypsy.
Okay.
I'm curious. I like
Right.
to see what's going on.
Oh boy.
Right?
Curiosity
All those-
killed the cat, kind of that kind of.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
Right.
So that we went on for a period of time, and then
Did you know what the substances were you were taking on the ships?
some of them I know that which would have been marijuana, alcohol mainly. Sometimes it was pills, different types of pills, and sometimes I be smoking things that I actually don't know what I'm smoking. So the fact remains, I was not interested in names. I was only interested in
The
getting
height.
fish.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And just for more clarity, the ships were what kind of ships?
Cargo ships, tankers, container ships.
Right.
And when I talk about ships, I've sailed, when I say the world, I've sailed actually as far as Australia, Argentina, Russia. Right now, got
Russia.
the war up in the Persian Gulf, all the way up to Dubai, all up in those places, all down to the Caribbean, Europe, Mediterranean, the English Channel, the Mediterranean Sea. I've traveled the whole world. Coming up now is like you're partying, you're drinking, but sometimes on the ships, I supposed to you get work, but I join my smoke all time. So when it's time now for I to get up now to smoke all is between after lunch and what we call supper. So in between there, the officers will rest for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So when they wake up, I would get the tea and the biscuits or whatever, and that was that. So during that time, I would drink and get sweet or do my little thing. And then at the end of the day, now, when it's time for me to come and serve now, the evening time, I can't get up. Eventually, I was put off. There was a ship that I was on, and I wanted something to drink. The chief steward on that ship, the chief steward on the ship at that time, he was a South African, so he had problem with black people. Right? So what he did, you have the ship got English officers, and they have their bar, and they have the crew like us in the West Indies have our bar. So he would give the officers their drinks, and we would go and buy a bottle of this or what. So I was going to steal the alcohol from the officers' bar. Every small car would go with a bottle that was full of bottles. So I must drink. So they set a trap, and I fell right in the trap, and I was put off of sailing on Harrison boats in those days. So then they said, well, Harrison boats, they can't sail on. So then they started to sail on what we call world ships, like gas tankers and bulk carriers and all sorts. Which then expand my trip, my voyage. I start going out wild because the Harrison boats only used to make England, West Indies, England, South Africa, England, Australia. Then I went other places after that. So I came up then, and in 1985, to be precise, ships, the West Indian seamen were made redundant. They take us off the ships. The guys that had it more than 5 years, they give us $1,000. The ones that had it under 5, they give them $500.
Severance?
Severance. Right?
What year this is?
1985.
That's too recent. That's too recent.
Yeah, it's low because what happened, the purpose for that was because like the union, we had a union called the National Union of Seamen in Barbados, and they were fighting for the same pay as the British seamen.
Right.
So the owners decided, well,
Okay.
see what?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop dealing with the West Indies. I'm going to take the Indians and the Pakistanis and pay them because you can't pay them the money that they pay us because they're working for more money than maybe the deputy prime minister or whoever.
Right.
So I came home in 1985, got a job in the Ministry of Public Works. The drinking started again, drugs started again, everything not start, continue.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And sorry, coming back here now, I start you doing your drinking and whatever. And in 1987, Easter bank holiday, I will never forget that day. I shook hands with the devil, crack cocaine. We call it the white lady in the silver skirt because it's white and it's wrapped in foil, right? And I remember going on the Bears and Queen 10 to 2 cruise. Cruise finished about maybe 2. I don't know when it finished. I only remember going back by this girl I had house, and the morning I was like naked. Actually, I was like trying to get. I never went to the toilet, or whatever, but I was trying to get up top the bed, get back on the bed, but I just stuck. One hand on the bed, one foot on the bed, and the other hand down the ground. So she come and said, we need to get it on thing. You can't wake me up after drunk for one night, drinking rum punch off the Beer and Queen, and shake me up. I jump up so my head started to hurt. So a fight came, she got shot, she called the police, she put me up the house. I had about maybe 100 and change. I can't remember exactly, but a little over $100. And I moved from there and walked straight to a place called Church Village in town. You see where that nice park now?
Right.
Or they had houses and beer, drug. A lot of people do drugs. You used to be
You
there.
call it a drug hole.
A drug hole, right. I went there. I saw this girl. I thought she was, I come do some business. No, you know, you're going to alcohol, you're vexed. I just want, just
Vent.
So she had this glass, foil, some hole with some ash, and then a hole where I can draw from my mouth. In those days, a dope store that cost $10 Barbados, but it was fairly big. So she give me the door, I put it on my pipe, she light, and she tell me draw. But I ain't getting nothing. So she get vexed. Why you smoking my dope and you ain't got no money? So I take out some money and I give her to go and buy. So she come out, she lay it out there and she cut it. Then she put it on again and I went up. Then I get the message. And that message went from 1987 to 1995. And in the process of that, I stole, lied, robbed, cheat, manipulate. Anything that was in there that I had to do where drugs was, I did.
I want us to get into all of that, right? But when you first took that hit, do you remember how you felt? Because I just want to know what your mind is like when you actually are on like crack cocaine.
That is going to be, let me tell you. Try getting 20 orgasms in one night.
Really?
Think about that. Think how you feel that you having you orgasm.
I can be tired.
Right.
In other words, when you are high, right? The first time I got that high, my cap, my skull. You see the cap? It's like this here was raised to about here, and like drops of like how fountains drop.
Yeah.
Kind of enough water coming down in thin drips, like
Right.
but slow. Then like it's slow motion, right?
So that's exactly how it felt. That's how you
feel.
can.
So it's like you to be feel on top of the world. You like be like kind of floating. Like it's like it's an experience. Smoking crack is I go as far as say a crack high is even better than having sex to come in at the end to have sex. You know, you're having sex, you ready to break. You understand? It's better than that.
Wow.
The feeling So really on.
Nah,
Basically, it is most people that do crack for the first time normally get hooked. The majority of people. There are people that want to do that and just
So
And-
and is that you or no? That wasn't
no,
you
that
yet.
wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
No, that was me. I went on and went on and went on. I remember they had a store in town called Modern Living.
Yo, yeah, boy.
And I would go and purchase the items, right? And I would go and buy a television, bring it home, watch it for about a week or two, take it up, carry it to the pusher man, give me drugs for that. Now I paying maybe some like $12, $13 have purchase for this
For
one.
that.
He can give me about $100 and some dollars for that, you know. And
So
then I got to sign off. The thing is now is that when he coming down and he takes out, you see, yeah, enough. I now got to sign on it over to him. So here is, not that fraud because I signed over something that I ain't really mine.
Right.
I ain't
Yeah,
done
right,
it.
right,
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
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 but
yeah,
you paying
yeah,
for it.
right.
But yeah, I still got to pay for it. He
Right.
got it. I ain't got it, but I still got to pay for it.
Right.
Right.
And then the billers covering the stores.
Mm.
And
They
they
coming
would
to
come
you.
and check me.
Mhm.
And they be hiding. I remember I was stopping off from work for weeks. And then going and then I always just go to the government places and the doctors would give me I would come up with a lie. But that this particular Indian, the doctor, the man would not budge. Right? And I got called, I nearly lost my job at that time. Right? And I know of times where that I would buy the last time there was other times that I would buy things. I would just work, got paid, bam. And get the point now that payday was on Fridays. So I would back up on Thursdays when the money's booked to get put out. Gone to the account department and I had a good few persons that you used to drink. So I would go and get a bottle of rum and give them. And get my paycheck
Earlier.
the evening before the money go in the morning. And then Friday morning, I ain't
But
got nothing.
So apologies if we skipped ahead, right? So right now in our story, you just took your your first hit of crack cocaine. How did you get from that point to my entire life revolves around getting this drug?
Because I was trying to chase the get back. It is the first time that I keep wanting
Chasing,
back, keep chasing. The first time. The fact remains, the first time is never going to come back. When a virginity is taken,
Yeah.
it cannot be.
Yeah.
When a cucumber is prickled, it can't get back whole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was just a fallacy. It just what drugs do is try to make you believe, it put you in this world. Yes, you can get me again. That first time, but that is not coming back.
Are you chasing? Are you
Over the years,
a
I've been
moving
chasing that
target?
all the time. And in the 90s, crack at that time used to be crack. We had something called mother pearl, where that feeling was like beautiful in those days, right? The crack that is selling now is like they're cutting it and cutting it and cutting it, and you are actually like you go up and in seconds, minutes you're down. 7 to 10 minutes in those days you had as a high with crack. So from a scale of 1 to 10, if you go up on a pipe and you get 9,
9 minutes.
9 as a
Nine-
high,
No, the thing.
sorry,
right?
sorry.
and you know when you start to fall, you normally fall about 2 or 3 times greater than that going down. So your drop will be much
Greater than the right.
greater than the rise.
Raise.
So you want to get out of the drop.
So you.
So you keep going
I
again.
got you. I
Yeah,
got
right.
you.
You get what I'm
So
saying?
that's the cycle
That's
now.
the cycle of
where
it.
that starts.
You understand?
Okay.
You understand? Because
Mm.
and the more you use, the more the coming down, going down, that depression, whatever, it gets greater and greater. And you don't want me down there because when you down there, it's be like stress.
Mhm.
So that is the time where you hurt people, you steal, you go around to make sure because you want to get out.
That we would get into. Go
I
ahead.
try and figure out how like So okay, you done with the woman, you went church village and you talked to your friend.
Yeah,
And
well, yeah,
about the
yeah,
girl,
yeah.
the business. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. I
she,
was trying to think about
girl,
word. Right, the lady.
prostitute.
Oh, well, all right.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
well,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's
okay, no,
that
no. Let
is
me talk. Let me talk
Right.
real
So
things.
then, no, I trying to get to was the stage like something happened in between that and braving the accounts department. So you when you ever
Because
like realize like um you actively realize I am going back to this thing
um,
because I feel like
did
something
I
going between that and selling
did I
TVs.
maybe I see it, but maybe they won't see it.
Right.
Let me explain that. You start money coming, you're spending money, you're getting money, then things start getting tight because the money know that you had save up, all that start to go. So then you start with the jewelry, because I had jewelry, enough jewelry. So that started to go. Then I start, no, when not gone, I start to pick the house. So I started to sell the rug, the dish, the chairs. So then at one point in time, no, the house become, we call it a dance hall. And I had a 5-piece dining set, which is 4 chairs and a table. That's still there because nobody wanted it. Right? So the moving from 19 Easter Bank Hall of 1987 to the 17th of February 1995 is a process where that the addiction start to get worse. It's the cycle start to get broader and it start to work itself down. And it comes to the point where that the line that you could drink socially is no longer. So you cross now from social activity, whether it's party drug or whatever, into the life of addiction, where there is no stopping. It's I must go all the time.
Right.
Right? When you get to that space, very seldom some people kill themselves because they get tired of going after it, because they want to stop but they can't stop. It's like a force that controls you. We call it in our counseling the disease of addiction. And this disease of addiction is comprises of 2 elements: the obsession and the compulsion. You're obsessed with this whatever, and when you go and you start the first, the compulsion kicks in. That's the feeding, right? Both goes together. None two can go. There's no one. So you go down and you keep going and keep going. Some people end up in the psychiatric hospital. Some people walk the road. And you notice they go. I don't like the word parole because parole is a
Pejorative.
yeah. And parole really does not fit for this. I want to really put this as record. Parole really doesn't fit the person that is doing the drug, Parole comes from being paranoid. You get right.
Really?
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
But it's just that
I'm a
the
parole.
society
Oh.
in Barrow, the society in Barbados put that as a stigma.
As we
So
do.
wait, so can I ask you a question? Does parole come from paranoid schizophrenia?
No,
Oh.
no. Just being paranoid.
No, because the reason why I ask is because a lot of people that have those illnesses that it's hard for us to kind of understand what it is that they have. A lot of them have schizophrenia. Some
Right,
of them
but-
paranoid schizophrenia, which
Right.
some of them are actually on the
Yeah,
street.
but that could come from drugs or it could come from other things.
Yeah, yeah,
so,
okay,
so,
okay.
so what I'm just trying to clarify what society in Barbados call the people that
Parole,
do
yeah.
crack cocaine on the streets paroles.
Okay.
Because they're not.
Right.
I use the term using addicts. Because we are addicts. Although I stopped doing drugs, I do not. There's still my obsessive compulsive behavior still is around because whatever I do, I like to do to the max.
I want to ask you a question about that. I want to ask you, right? If that obsessive compulsion that you have, right? Is it that existed before you consumed the drugs and the drugs thing, or did
Good
the
point.
drugs bring that up?
No, good point. A lot of people that do drugs or a lot of people that come into this life, right? A life of that I had. People that are predisposed to whatever, right? I am a person. I always was from small. I always like neat, tidy, and that come from a generation from my um, father, who always was like that. Um, it's not about my life. The addictive personality was there before the drug.
Mhm.
The drugs only actually enhance it more. Now that I don't do the drugs, it's still around,
Right.
but I'm better now to, I don't want to use the word control, manage it, right? I'm a perfectionist. You see here? This got me mad.
Oh my god. Oh my
Get
god,
literally
bro.
mad. My house, you should see my house.
Right.
Yo.
My house is in order.
Right.
My whatever I do, I put, if I work my office, I got, because but I buried it.
So
But-
what you trying
but
to say
that's
over
okay.
here? No.
That's okay.
Is it
That's
though?
okay. But I'm trying to say, what, so the personality still exists,
Right.
Alright.
the behavior still exists. When I first came into the recovery process, food and sex was what I ran after,
Mm.
right?
Eating disorders.
No,
and
no,
sex
no,
addiction.
no.
Yeah.
So I ran on. But then afterward, then fed up. Then it started things like chocolates, sweets,
Mm.
right? So now I'm kind of now at this time in recovery, I kind of manage my emotions better
Mhm.
day by day. Sometimes they still get out of hand, but when they get out of hand and I'm being told, I work on them. I am not perfect. I would always be in recovery. I like the notion. I will never be recovered per se. I'm gonna explain this here. An addict and a diabetic both have the same issues and the same um, problems that goes with both of them. And diabetic, as long as he or she takes his or her medication on time
And manage it.
and manage it, that individual can live what we call a proper life, a normal life.
Mhm.
Right.
Just like me. My medication is any meetings, work my sponsor, and work my steps.
Mhm.
Keep it from people, places, and things. Right? And that is what I do. I do my praying, my meditation, and that's what I do.
So that's your medication,
That
basically.
that is my medication.
Interesting.
Right? So
alright.
you want to say something?
I don't know. I just feel like that's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison.
No, I think it's perfect.
I think so too.
I think it's
Okay.
I think it's spot on.
Mhm.
It is.
I think
I-
it's spot on.
Right.
I think I explained why, but you go ahead, get your point across.
No, I would like to hear your explanation.
Well, I got somebody in my family recently diagnosed with diabetes,
Mhm.
and in terms of, it's a lifestyle change,
Correct.
Mhm.
but the definition of healed is not part. It's a chronic. It's a chronic disease.
Right.
I mean, it can be reversed, but the likelihood is that it is chronic,
Mhm.
right? And the goal is to maintain a certain regimen
And live with it.
and live with it.
Yeah.
Manage it. You see, sorry,
Yeah, but
Right.
so I think
No, my mother's a diabetic
Right.
for a little bit now. I just feel like it just does not feel the same. Like I don't. Yeah, if my mother doesn't take her medication, she doesn't do her regular checks. Obviously, she can
go to
fall apart.
Right.
Yes, I understand that like a part of your healing process or whatever is to keep up with what you need to do in order to I don't want to remain healed, but remain along the path of
Mhm.
recovery.
recovery. That's the word. But I still feel like you have options though. Like there are paths you could explore. There are things you could do. A diabetic got to take the insulin. So I just feel like
Can I?
it's a to compare the two. I rather no, I'll say that. I just feel like there are more options for a recovering addict than a diabetic. I feel like you're less boxed in. I feel like that you gotta look at that real specific for that to make direct
Let me see if
sense.
I can. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can bring a little clarity. I I am a recovering addict, right?
Mhm.
So gone in the supermarket, right? And seeing all the alcohol there, it's
Mm.
things I got to watch.
Mhm.
Smells of people drinking and smoking. Those are things that can trigger you, right? Being wrong the substance of itself, right? The behavior is also let me back up a little. Both of these things deal with behavior change,
Mm.
Mhm.
right? So my behavior change is that I am to live a particular way. One of the ways I'm supposed to live is to be honest, is to do what has to be done. And let me tell you something. Just as the diabetic to struggle, just as we recover from it, do struggle.
I'm not saying I don't know if you all understand what I'm saying because I'm not saying that. I don't want to dwell on it either.
Right.
But like, and I'm not taking away anything from any of your struggles. I'm not saying that you live an easier life than person X. I just feel like on your path to recovery, there are things you could do. You could there a recovering Jew and a recovering Muslim, a recovering Buddhist. These are all very different paths that people could take
Okay.
and live a life of recovery at the pedagogical insulin. I just feel like it's not an apples to apples comparison. I don't want to dwell on it because
Okay.
it's not
No
really
problem.
important.
No problem.
I think it is, but I don't wanna.
Perfect.
I think so too.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
the thing is
perfect.
all of the behavioral changes are all for the same intention, are all for the same remedy. So
And compulsion.
yeah.
Person, but we can move on.
yeah, we
Yeah. So right. So basically, and all professionals do link addiction with diabetes.
Mhm.
All
All
right. We,
professionals.
yeah.
Ca-
They
ca-
do
ca-
it.
go ahead.
So we in this life now what I do is I try this is what I do. I like to do this. I like to share my experience with individuals. Um it's easy to get in. You can easily get in boxing with drugs. Drugs is things that people just boom and the day use this is so cunning and baffling that you to be doing drugs and then one day you decide I ain't doing it, but then there is this sir, but you're gonna do it.
Mm.
So do you still
That
feel
is
that?
no.
You don't feel it anymore. You
Right
don't have
now,
that.
right now, I, I feel right now that I've never used drugs in my entire life.
Wow.
Really?
That's what I feel now.
Okay, that's
Jeez,
interesting.
Mentally.
man. Nice.
I
man.
don't, which means that well, I don't go put myself at risk,
Right.
but I don't have desires, I don't have urges, um, I don't frequent, I don't go to drug holes. When I was smoking dope, right? Nobody can come in a drug hole and tell me come and get in rehab.
Mhm.
Mm.
You understand? If you got a couple of dollars and I say there, well, give me something, let me get high, and you give it to me, I gone, you ain't see me again.
Yeah.
Can we go back a bit to the dope hole part? Because I would assume that that dope hole aspect of the story is in that 87 to 95 window, right?
Right.
Can you talk about your dope hole a bit? When you were in the dope hole, like what is a night in the dope hole like?
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a good question.
the night in the dope hole is once you got cash, you got girls. No, I going, my nickname back then was the MTW man.
Mm.
Called I was
You work at
enjoying it.
NTW.
Yeah.
So I was going
It fits.
How
and
clever!
Yeah.
Like, how
I
long
was
did it
going-
take to
we
think?
we must have never expected like I don't
I
know.
will- I will go to the dope man who's selling the door.
Mhm.
I will give him a certain amount of cash. He will hold the drugs, and I will send when he ready. He will send the drugs to me. Right? When that is done, what happens? What the girls do is girls will come and smoke with you, and when you give them drugs, what they do is they hold the drugs.
Right. Yeah.
So when yours gone, them got them one, and if they're not, if they don't so appreciate you, they're gonna smoke the drugs alone. So now I gotta get it and move.
Mm.
You understand? Now there are men that was taking to drop hole and they would pick and beg and try to make up. Now you buy a door for $5, right? I mean buy a door for $5. What a lot of men do to men used to walk with pipes, so they rent out the pipes. So when you rent a pipe for a period of night, you rent a pipe for 3-4 hours and it being used all the time. What they do now is to wash the pipe. So they take alcohol, put down the pipe, shake it up, put it on a glass. We will call a glass like that,
Mhm.
and throw match on it. So the match it burn off the
Yeah.
alcohol,
Yeah.
and then you take a blade and you scrape back, and you got crack cocaine again. So those are for some.
Mm.
But and night, Friday night in the hall is many people coming in. They got men coming to pick fears. They got men coming to do the girl, and that is what happens. Money spent, and if you got a good partner that know that she I don't use the word like. Cause in those wars it doggy dog. Cause you ever my dog gone, I want yours. You understand?
So there's a lot of conflict in there. There's
Yes, a lot of
conflict.
conflict.
Mhm.
Sometimes fights happen. Sometimes people, even somebody same using others try to have to know where the postman got. He thinks that's called what the postman normally used to do. They never got them. Whoever they got them,
Mhm.
but the ones that for the top war, they never got them. Either give them to some person to sell and got so like, sometimes the people that are using, if they got the idea, they're trying to steal it. Then the whole night, the whole issue that caused a lot of stress.
Right.
Because then the postman is going to send somebody, if he got an idea, is you to find you. And when they find you, you are going to get some licks. And that is how it works.
Wow.
Right?
I never knew like all these years though. It never occurred to me like a dope hole is like an actual I don't want to say like a place with rules, but I just thought it was like a place that addicts used to hang out. I didn't know it was like
hang, hang, get high.
I mean yeah, but I just thought like that I thought it was like a limey spot,
No,
like
no.
almost.
You see, when the drugs, you see, when the crack gone, as I just talked about, you ain't got no more dope small, and you done in our in our hole. Just want to get out. So you looking to contract, steal, do whatever they even try to. Everybody smoking drugs and one there, people just come and try to take what they have. Now they got some people. You got people in the dope holes that some that are very aggressive and controlling that will prey on the ones that weak.
Mhm.
So ever I'm a weak man and I got my door and the aggressor come and give me that, I can give it because I high and I do out there the wrong people. So I can give it because I wanted to get from around me.
And the paranoia too.
And the
behind all
paranoia.
that.
Right.
So
This is prison though.
yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds just like prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the jail bars are actually the dope that's in there that you're
Correct
using
is
and you
right.
can't leave.
Correct is right.
What do you have? What do you?
Not the only bars.
Yeah. Huh?
No, you go ahead.
What do you sleep at the dope hole and stuff?
I never, but you can't sleep. Crack shut down your 5 senses. No. Sleeping is irrelevant. You sleep, a crack man will sleep when his body is exhausted, that he can't go no more.
Body just shut down.
His body just shut down.
Yeah.
But once crack, ever got crack in here now, right? I can smoke that crack and smoke. Just going tonight, in tomorrow morning, want the crack there. And the only thing that I can shut down is when the body then can't take no more, and it just drop and shut out. And when it shut down, for 3 days, 2 days, and that's that. Right?
I forgot to answer this earlier, and sorry if it's doubling back a bit too far. But so we talking about crack cocaine, like that one form. You ever use like traditional cocaine,
Like, no,
like the powder, like
I snort. I I never used because in those days snorting was very, 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 very expensive, right?
mhm.
And snorting ain't really my type of drug. Snorting mostly is for like hold on, those people like big people snort. These type of
it was
high
almost
class
elite.
society.
a luxury
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
an
Right,
elitist
lo-
kind of thing.
right.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
But a majority, when you check statistics, a lot of people that snort turn to the pipe, right?
Really?
Yes,
Mm.
because after a while, you snorting. And snorting, a little bit of snorting. Snorting eats out. You see all the thing here?
Yeah,
After a
cartilage in
while,
nose.
it eats out. And when you blow, you be like, all this be coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
And snorting is even in our little, in rehab, you got the man, you got a few people that do come in for snorting, but they feel that some of them feel that they're better than the man that on the pipe.
That's so interesting. In
You
rehab,
understand? Yeah,
In rehab.
in
That's
rehab, right?
Because
interesting.
of pecking order.
Yes,
Yeah, dog.
because the things that some of the crack men do on the pipe,
Right.
them they do.
Right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And even if they do it, it kind of like do in a way that up and down in that type of
Yeah.
society type style,
Upper echelon. people.
echelon style, right?
Okay.
So that's that thing. And you know, like, listen, a life of an addict is hell.
Mm.
He's put down, he's cursed upon, he becomes the scum of the earth, right? Um, I I thank God the day that He gave me the opportunity on the 16th of February 1995. 'Cause I got clean. I used my clean day the next day.
Mm.
So
You use your clean day?
I been to the I ain't got clean out for an house. No, I got clean in the mental institution. You understand? I had this place called Down My House. But it was situated in Jenkins.
Mhm.
So I got clean in there. I went in, we had a little 12-step thing, we do what we gotta do, and then we got clean. Now you have Vernon House, who is one of the biggest we have now around this Caribbean area, right? And we had a 6-week program. We got a 12-week up there now, right? So I went in there, and when I first, I think I went to treatment 3 times. I relapsed twice. When I say relapse, I don't call it a relapse per se. The first 2 times I went to rehab, I really didn't want to stop smoking totally at all.
Right.
I didn't want to stop doing crack. Because crack was causing too much money. What little I did not know is that I had already passed the invisible line, and the crack, any drug that I used on the crack was send me back to the crack
To the crack.
because of the intensity of the feeling of the crack.
I kind of you use the word dope to just refer to like drugs on a whole.
When I use the word dope, I talk about all drugs.
Okay, cool. I
Because
follow right now.
a drug is a mind and mood altering substance.
Mhm.
So it changes you. Right now, I'm me. I know. I am normal at this present time. Normal in the sense that I don't have anything abnormal in me.
Mhm.
Have I put anything in me now that changes my way how I think, the way I behave?
That's
That is,
dope.
I
Good.
call it dope.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anything
Alright.
as well.
Anything dope.
Okay.
Even alcohol too.
Right,
Because
yeah,
a lot of
I
people-
know,
a lot of
follow
people-
it.
a lot of people think, and there's this society to also got this idea that alcohol is,
Okay.
it's okay,
Mhm.
but alcohol is number 1 killer drug in the world, followed by nicotine, the second killer
Right.
drug, and those are
Both
the
legal.
legal, and those are the highest.
Do you know I've always found that weird? I've always found out weird that alcohol is legal and marijuana is illegal. When you
Yeah.
can
It's
easily make an
interesting.
argument.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I want to ask this though, and it may be a little bit off of what we've spoken about so far, but what your family structure was later.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's that. No, that.
If you don't mind.
No,
Mm.
I come here to talk.
Right.
Right.
My family, I came up, was brought up in a we call a middle class type family. So they have certain rules that they want me to live by. They want me to be a doctor. To make sure that I get. My grandmother was so caught up that I sat this common entrance exam, and she believed that I didn't do enough, so she went pay at a private school, and I sat there also, and I passed both. But because the common mirror was free, she said send me to the common mirror. You understand?
Mm.
At the end of the day, I come from a family that my grandma was in church, doing she thing, dress up, Mother's Union. But when she left the church and she come out and you she told her, she transformed from that church person as she don't
blind
in
you.
Nelson Street.
Okay.
Cast, I mean, cast,
Blind you.
Really,
blind
I
you.
didn't see any
Blind
cussing
you.
part, but yeah.
Okay.
Blind
I
you,
see.
blind you, right? So I could go and play. I used to go and kneel down in the chair and watch people playing. So when I start the exam, I get to go out on my own.
Mm.
I start to do as I
Do the
choose to do.
most.
So
You
you was
get
like
away.
off
I
rebelling.
get
then.
away, you know, you go, you go a dog team and thing. So over the years,
Telephone.
then my behavior then start to affect them because, but look, the time is we have grandson. Look at you all, you look at, so they then start to get affected because it started to, it was more of casting me out because I became then the black sheep of the family. So then everybody started to move away. Nobody wanted to know me. So yeah, I see you nephew. Who nephew? Mine? You told me. So everybody. So
okay.
then I had an uncle who stood by for a little while, and then one day he actually was my turning point in a sense. One day he said to me, "The day you ever get hold by the police, I am not coming to sign no bail. I've never been. I have never do prison, but
I want to ask that too.
but I've done things that I could have been there. But
Okay.
I never do.
I mean,
never did.
build
Okay.
Huh?
up. Build up, yeah.
Yeah.
That's enough
that would
to
get
know.
you there.
Correct.
So let me ask this though. How much of that affected you think you were affected by the pressure of trying to be something? You think that might have led to your going to the drugs?
There was no love in my home per se.
All right.
Right? There was
That's where I want to get to.
my one was a used to function, but it functioned because it had a function from a society type level.
It was duty.
Duty, correct. That's the good word.
Okay.
So as I growing up, there was everything. In my early days, right, I always had like this grew up black culture thing. They had a different idea. They want me to go to church. They want me to serve this particular God that they had
Right.
serving, which I didn't do a
Connection.
thing with. My doors, even up to this day, I am not really a church man. I will go to church, but my fellowship is the NA program. Narcotics Anonymous. That's where it goes.
Right.
I cannot talk about that because that is anonymous.
Understood.
So that speaks to spirituality. That speaks to the 12 steps. It speaks to step 1, being honest. Step 2, finding the power. Step 3, allowing the power to work. Step 4 is like a confessing, more of a confession. Like then step 5, admit then to another human being, and it goes on.
Okay.
So step 12 is when you have complete 1 to 11, and 12 gives you that where you become now get the what we call the spiritual awakening.
Okay.
This is what you call the spiritual awakening.
Okay.
What I'm doing now.
Okay. So let me ask this. If
No, yeah,
all right. There's how much of this compulsion or because you start the addiction? What were your relationships with women and so on like?
No. My grandmother was a very no-nonsense, aggressive individual. Proper on one hand, coming on the other. My first wife, all the women that I chose off of her.
Okay.
Right? No, it sounds.
No, you're right. I get it, bro. I get it.
Because of the thing. Short. Right. Now, my first wife, I have a son who is maybe 40, maybe 41 this year, October. And I have a granddaughter. And his mother and I, when we first met, it was not love. I thought it was love, but it was not love because, as I said, drugs, all that come up, and all that time, the family house they had, it wasn't all that possible love. So what I mistook lust for love. So that when the lust is something that everything when it first start, everything's sweet, but then when it start to get fade and look dull and dark, you want to run. Anyhow, I got married, and I got my son. That lasted for 6 years. She left. And yeah, I dropped quickly, and then I'm gonna go on. There was a ship here many years ago called the USSD Dwight Eisenhower. It was an aircraft carrier. It was anchored off in Carolina Bay. I was working on the Basin Queen at that time. And the Jolly Roger could not ground for people because the current that created around the carrier was very difficult for the Jolly Roger because that was a V bottom board. The Basin Queen was a tug that was flat. So that could have bear that type of water.
You had a DQ.
Yes, right? Therefore, the wife, the wife was gone, then she came back. So I went on, she went again. And the last thing right now, I went on, I drunk, sweet. And I called the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. I would like a reporter to come down here now, and I would like to ask my wife on air. The people come through, you know? And I did ask my wife on air. The big joke is now that I sweet, I do that, and I remember over that. I remember that. I go home. When I get in my neighborhood, man, celebrity. And then everyone Barbados got my face was on TV in the 7 o'clock news. That taught me for a while. Even when I first went to work at MT, they did that for you. Hey boy, you fool. Some people were laughing and some people were like, you stupid. But I did that on the influence. You know what I'm saying? So she went down, she never came out. She took my son at 6 years old. Then I had this other girl for a little while, for about 30 years in between there. We really got married, but she was my active use, right? Full-time blowing. And then when I got clean, I married now a second time. And this woman I married right now, I have a daughter for her who is 23 years old. She know she get the I met her when I had 5 years in recovery.
Sobriety. Okay.
She had this is 2022, so she and I together 21 years. The 16th of January is when we met. We married now. My granddaughter will be 11 years, who's gonna sit exam here shortly. And I married 11 years
Okay.
in August.
You had said in the article about a time that you would have, I think, thrown hot water on one of your wives, and that would have
That
made
was
you
first wife.
okay, and
No,
that
not
and,
second wife.
and that would have one of the things that made you that would like kind of push you in order to like go into that whole recovery process, right?
No shit,
Okay.
no.
But what can you give us the whole story about,
She
about that
didn't-
hot water thing?
Yeah, I wasn't on crack yet, but I was smoking weed. I was doing other drug, but I wasn't on the crack. I only did crack after she went now. This was a Good Friday, and I was going to church about Christchurch, Parish Church. I was living in Pegwell Bogs at that time. She believed that she came out, she didn't know why I was going to church because I'm a church man. So she followed me David to church. I come down and this is woman walking, coming down, and we talking about church. So she decide whatever she decides. So I came home and I touched her and she didn't want to touch me. So
Sorry.
she took up she was there on the stove. She threw it all on me. I then took out the pepper sauce then and I dosed it in her eyes.
Oh,
You understand?
wow.
So that how that player we went down. So from that time on we was that whole thing and
Yeah.
plus to one of the things that I had to my addiction was he asked and you remember you asked me if I knew it was that bad in the
In the
beginning.
beginning.
I did not know, right? I did not see it. But now that I hear and now that I in recovery, I really look back. I remember that I got paid off a ship. I work on a ship in my last voyage. I spent 6 months in change and I got paid off the same. I had to leave my luggage at the airport and wait to the Monday. I came in over a weekend. I had to wait till Monday morning to go and get the money that I had saved to pay for my luggage at the airport. Understand? So that was a lot of my addiction has started down way back.
The reason why I asked you that regarding the hot water is I know that in the article it said that it really did destroy the destruction of the relationships. Would have
Yes.
eventually made you realize, okay, I got to do something about this.
Correct.
Right.
But not really. Yeah, maybe I do something, but it wasn't. It was to do something with it to keep her. Not. It wasn't to do something with it for me.
Mm,
You understand?
Okay.
that's
They-
real
they-
though.
Which
it
I
wasn't-
feel that.
Yeah,
though.
I
It's like
get
one
it.
of those
That's
father.
real.
That it was,
real.
and then it go back to the last call. It was like
Right.
it was this come back to know to the obsessive compulsive behavior.
Mhm.
I was obsessed with her. It wasn't more of.
Okay.
It wasn't too much of the
Wow.
of and all the things that you only know now.
Yeah.
Looking back.
Wow, that's
You
interesting.
understand?
I also found it very interesting that you said the last step, I think you said spiritual awakening, and I saw that most persons who are recovering addicts, the only way that they could have gone from that dark place to where they are now is some kind of spiritual connection,
Correct.
awakening.
Correct.
So which is why when you said praying is one of the things that you have to do to stay on course and thing. Yeah, like is this enlightenment that a lot of addicts get? You feel that in terms of like having more of a connection with the higher power, that kind of
Right. Because I see the God that I was raised with. My grandma always taught me that this God is a God that kills and crucifies and do whatever. Yes, I know God is God. Get angry, do what he has to do. However, the God that I have found in my 12 steps is a God of understanding, a God of love, a God of
Mhm.
peace, a God
Benevolent.
that correct is right. So this is where I've got a different aspect, and you see the different come because well, actually, I will say backing up where you had the Europeans come back to Africa and they enslaved, they did what they had to do, and it kind of had caused as a black man growing up, I always like follow like Marcus Garvey, people like Malcolm X and those sort of people. I don't do it now. I not that I still don't
Mhm.
be but I'm not open to it because the way how live there, I try to keep it at very low
Right.
profile, right? But I believe that the God I found now is a God that I'm more comfortable with, more at peace with,
Somebody could reason with.
that I can reason with. Somebody to understand that, yes, I can do wrong. The point he knows that, but the thing with me, when I go to him and say, Father, I've done wrong, that admission is what the forgiveness comes. That is how I live now.
Let me open by saying I agree with you, by the way. I do also note the distinction, but I find it interesting, especially when I speak to people who actively do wrong. I want to say but then their mentality is no. I can just ask for forgiveness and they're gonna be all right.
So no accountability.
Right.
No.
So
I don't ever, me right, I try my utmost best to be as honest, as open, and willing to do what has to be done to keep this life that I have. And part of that is that if I do, you can do wrong and not actually physically do a person, but you can carry some person you hate and hate them and resent them, and that is also not in my book. It's not right. Um, we have a saying that goes in our fellowship. A resentment expectations are premeditated resentments. Let me explain that.
yeah.
Ever put you on a pedestal, I'm putting you on a pedestal is me saying you are not to do X or Y or Z. Right? That is my thinking.
Right.
You. 'Cause I got you to be Mr. What?
Right.
Perfect. When you fall from that, because I expect you to not to do that, I automatically then the resentment comes right in. Because then I resent you.
You didn't meet.
Because
You didn't meet what I
exactly
Had,
right. And in my head, you should meet what I expect you to meet. You understand? So I try not to hold resentments, cause and again another little thing here now. A resentment is like I drinking poison and hope that you die.
Right.
That's all.
It's true.
That's all sick.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna die. Right. So these are things I try to work with. In my step, I've met amazed a lot of people I've heard. I still got amazed to meet some people that I've not met on, and there's some people that die that I still, although die, I still need to meet the names, right? Um, there's some that my government that I may never see, but so what? I still need to meet that name, right? So, and I met my amazed when my amazed were made when, and I was guided by my God to meet the amazed.
Do you ever feel survivor's remorse? As in, like, now that you have recovered, you
Not
well, sorry, not recovered,
In
recovering,
recovery.
recovering, in recovery, on your path to recovery. That many people are still battling. Do you ever feel kind of do you feel bad that you got out but they kind of didn't?
No, no. When I say no, I'm not saying no in a bad way. The only way you can get out is if you want to come out.
True.
I and I say this here and I say this here. Any active addict right now that is using any mind altering substance right now, and he wants to come out or he can. To get out, my breaking point that the 16th of February 1995, it was a Friday. Every year, what I do when it comes to my anniversary, I take that 20 that year and I put it to vault and add it to rest. I lock in the vault. So I start my year every year from day one. That's how I live.
Oh.
The 16th of February 1995, it was a Friday. I got in the door hole about 1 o'clock. I left the door hole around 10 that night. I give a girl $25. She tell me she gonna come back for me to play her. She ain't come out. She come out after the break. I beg the door man for $2, and he give me $2. And when I smoked $2, I ain't get high at all. And I came out of the house, stood up in the street, and I say, see me, I done with this. I moved from there and I walk on my way to Black Rock. I'm going up Robert Street. I stopped by Greenfield and had this girl. And she said, MDW man, come in man, you use a good man. I said, man, I ain't got nothing. And she tell me where she could come back. And she took too long. And I move on. I stop again in Queen Victoria Road, back on, by a fellow that is working MTW, that is small door. He had 3 peaches, peaches in can, in a glass, in the fridge. I ate them. I had 2 quarts in my pocket, 50 cents. And I see you young and here small. He said no, and he moved. When I get to Black Rock service station, it was a no book to close, which means it would have been midnight. And I went and he took us. I through the door and the man gave me a pack of Eclipse. I walked from there to Black Rock, sat down outside by the bus pole, ate the biscuits and won. The mosquitoes started to come around. And I went and knocked my door. The man that was working at night was a man I knew. And he called me in and I stepped there till Saturday morning. You see the stops I had. God was with me on that day. All that process. And as I talk about it, I see it. I can remember the day, the time. I can't remember, I can't remember the clothes I had on, but I remember the time, the day, I remember that day. That is a day that I will never forget.
Wow.
That day, by never forgetting that, that also keeps. There is another slogan again that goes in our French that goes like this: remember where you came from. The day you forget, you're doomed to relapse.
Something about your story though, as powerful as it was, it had me thinking, like, when you think about the access, I want to say, to like these drugs, because I feel like in that range you had a lot of I don't want to say areas of temptation, but it just crazy to me. I don't know if it's because I don't live that life. I don't know where to go, but it just feels like
drugs are all about in Barbados. In every block, every parish. Years ago, you had drugs in particular parts of Barbados. Today, you have drugs all over Barbados.
Mm.
Every little district, you got drugs. And one of the things about drugs, right? Drugs, a lot of the people that sell drugs are people that goes into the small communities and they become what we call the father of the community.
Ah,
You know what
they
I'm saying?
don't.
And then what happened, they help out this body, level up body or whatever. So they're free. So like if the police weird or go weird, so what? Nobody ain't know, nobody ain't see. And that's what it is. And in these times, if you feeling me, you think that I care you do? Hmm? As long as you put in food in my mouth. And they look for somebody those small little that little districts that there be women that got a woman got 4 children and she can't meditate, so the whole send school again. That's all that. But so that's how it goes.
So taking advantage of the economically deprived areas is one thing that
Is
a
one
lot of the
thing
men
that,
do. Wow.
and
Okay.
you see another thing too that goes that a lot of almost every little man know want to be hit. You know what I'm saying? You got men. My thing is a man is got this is 38. He been in pants 42. And every time he ready, got to hold it. I used to be amazed. 'Cause it's killed me dead. You understand? So these days, and another thing, there's a lot of American, one thing, I've traveled, since I was in recovery, I've been London, to the Caribbean, you know, and Barbados is one of the only places that I've been to in the Caribbean that's actually losing all of its culture. You see Antigua, Dominica, then people you can still find them people you still find what we call the old Dominica or old whatever in those places that you can still go and see and say not very, very, very seldom here in this island.
That is a very good point. And there was a guest that we had on the show already who is a rapper, and he said that he was very influenced by American rappers, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
the American rappers are heavily consuming many things. They got a rapper named Lil Xan, right? I mean, like we talking about like
Correct.
better it be Xanax, Molly's,
Or whatever.
It's same
syrup,
lean,
lean,
Right, yeah.
lean, exactly. So I hear what you're saying. So you think that is one of the things that is influence our kind of drug culture,
Yes.
the influence of from
Of
America.
Morgan, yeah. The Morgan style, he ready to dress, he ready to move, the big jewelry, you know, and another thing too, a lot of the music, the Western music, you find a lot of. Now I am a strong. My favorite music is reggae. I love reggae. I do not like the Movados and them sort of. God, I don't know when people go be talking gun shooting and all this is what is feeling. Music was supposed to be harmony, but people of today, music is a serious weapon because it gets what people anything you want to get to a person, get the music. Because it plays with this here.
So tell me one thing that always comes up is like this access to drugs. When people always talk about though the drugs have to come in somewhere, right?
But they
Especially
do.
from foreign countries, etc. And what are your thoughts on in terms of Barbados and I guess the influx of illegal drugs and that kind of thing?
Drugs comes in Seaport Airport. The fact remains, right? The man that you hear on the radio or wherever that get whatever is the man that might be getting where that you want to make a life or make something. But the other man who already done gone through clear. Now, got to be mindful how I put my words. What I'm basically saying, the people that need to touch don't get touched.
Okay.
I mean, well,
Say,
you could just say that. Like,
yeah, no,
that's
no, it's
a
a fact
fact.
because
Yeah,
the drugs here.
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And it's a
You're correct. You know
It's
what?
like they make an arrest about on the boat. You know.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It is not. It is not. Let me be real. You will hear man get hold of your poor. You can go more drugs. But drugs come out. You come in here daily containers and
Right.
something.
I don't
Because you got people that have whatever in the upper or whatever that got that people just
I'm calling.
I don't want. Okay, so here's what you got to ask you now.
I go on him.
Right.
Go on.
But you have
I got a farm. Right?
you are well informed not only because you have been out there, but also you would have spoken to many people that have consumed drugs and that kind of thing, right? You don't say the name. Did you know the distribution channel well though? Do you know where the distribution channel ends, or what should I say begins?
Right,
Begins. Do you know where? Do you know who is at the top of the food chain? Do you know
I
yes
can't-
or no?
I-
That's just yes or no.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I
Cool.
choose not to. I choose not to.
Okay, then perfect. Okay, that's
in other words, there's another thing that we use. I cannot accept or deny the fact that I know anything.
Okay.
that is clean.
Okay. All right.
That ain't go against your first step though.
Honesty.
Yeah, clean coffee, clean
Clean
coffee.
I can ask this. Do you think that people who have a problem with drugs should go to jail?
No. See, Barbados was supposed to form this drug court for a while. Every time it keep coming up. People that are on it, people that do drugs are under what we call, I use the word force. They have a disease. It is an illness. Why put a man with an illness in a prison that all they're going to do is prison is going to be penalizing man? There's no help. Prison will help you, know.
But what about the argument that, okay, so let's say the addict did something wrong the family, maybe somebody died, maybe somebody was severely injured and whatnot. How do you think the law should address something like that? Because they got a term that you would understand.
Right. Address the drug issue. I'm not saying that the person is not to suffer the consequence. You understand? Because at the end of the day, sometimes we just got times that we can get out and we don't choose the times. And there is part of there is part of a book. I'm not going to call it book, but the book that says those individuals, there are some individuals that are in the drug culture that are going to die in the drug culture using drugs. And the reason for that is that there are those individuals who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. Those are such unfortunates. And that is how life is.
Okay.
So I'm saying that to try to get your question is that there are some people that do drugs and get the point that the drug is so intense that they had to do hurt to do that. There was an individual, one point in time, many moons ago, that killed an individual and put the car in St. James in the car bonnet. That individual wanted to get high, and he knew where that the individual that died had the money when actually both of them were supposed to be family. And he wanted whatever he wanted, and the individual may not say that this is whatever, bless what, blah, blah, blah. And through all the conflict of it, she died. And he got frightened, and she put it, that was all he knew.
Okay.
He served time, he spent time. I think he's out now. And he spent time. So sometimes I didn't get, thank God I didn't get that point to kill.
Okay. So let me ask this. So back to the question. So you said no, you don't think they should go to jail. But in a circumstance like that,
They still need to pay. If you kill If you, I'm not saying what's in my, there's only my opinion. You deal with that there, make sure the person get the point, but when you're doing when the concert arise, always remember it was because of
I sorry, Marcus, but I think it's Canada. I was reading this article lately that there have been a couple of cases and they're thinking to write it into law that there is a point where you could be like so
free.
high that you don't account for your crimes.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
think it's like three cases already that get through because the person was like, yo, I was too high to even know.
My thing is though is that I think you gotta distinguish between under the influence and have a disease. Because if you under the influence and commit a crime, before you took the substance,
decision.
you were aware that that substance can have dire consequences for you or somebody around you, right? In terms of the disease, if you have a disease, I think that has to be treated more like a psychotic issue or condition, and you need help as opposed to rehabilitation in the prison.
But I can see how the law can have a hard time trying.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
It's
the
true.
distinction
I agree.
between
because
two.
because one can make the argument that the decision to start the addiction in the first
Right,
place
which is
you-
exactly that.
was with you,
correct,
as
correct.
opposed to say a
But you ain't-
person
you
with
ain't-
some congenital condition
Right.
or predisposition to a mental illness. They have no control as to the genesis of that.
Okay, well, I have a response to that. I don't think anybody ever decides to be addicted. They decide to try it, but I think the
Correct.
addiction consumes them.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, but when you
correct.
tried
Yeah,
it,
but
you
the
knew you had the
trying-
risk of becoming addicted.
Yes, but at
Okay.
some point in that process, you tell yourself, I ain't gonna be like he. I can't turn to him.
which
Right.
is a decision.
Right, exactly. You told yourself that.
At that point, you have made a decision to try, a
Mhm.
decision to continue. Whereas there's a litany of other medical conditions that the person had no choice in the matter; they just got it.
Mm.
So I can see how the law can have a challenge with it, but something.
It's blurred lines for
It's-
true.
yeah, yeah,
Blurred
yeah.
lines for
Yeah,
true.
and that will because the law is the law.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the law deals with
Yeah, yeah,
justice, not
Justice, right, right.
Right.
Yeah, well, supposed to.
Yeah. And to me, the law ain't always right either. The things that is
not.
coming
No,
in law,
and
the
it
law is
can
very
be.
wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
the very law is very wrong too.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one or two more things before we wrap. You good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
cool.
all right.
I just want to make sure that I get this clear. A lot of people think that addiction is because of like a chemical. Addiction starts because of these chemical hooks, in the brain and that kind of thing that can hook you and then make you dependent. But then they also found that addiction can also stem from
Family.
absence of certain positive emotions in life.
Right.
So there's a huge link they say between loneliness and addiction, and also a lack of certain meaning in life and addiction.
Right.
And I wanted to know what your thoughts on that. I think you did explain that, but I just want to get that clear.
uh, there are elements that lead up to addiction. Yes. Loneliness. It all starts with that child growing up, and the majority of things dealing with it. A child like to know that he's loved, he's pampered, he's wanted. A lot of us were not in our heads. Never we were kind of rejected, right? I was a person in growing up that my grandmother always used to say to me, "Ma, you might go all the way to London and left you out here and left you by my hand." And then my old man then at one point in time, he disowned me. Like, it's like I know so I grew up like I ain't got no there was nobody, so there was no all that emotion that it was my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunt, her husband, my uncle, and my aunt two sons. Which with them were my two cousins. And we in the same house. And then we used to be playing fussy and got the mother and father. I had nobody. So what you do? Then they put on toys, I mashed them up.
Oh,
whatever wherever they could get it, whatever they get to enjoy, I destroy. Because I had to feel what I was feeling. But even I do that, they was still because they had their mother and father.
Right.
So that didn't bother them because things will come again.
This was in your primary school days, or this was
This is my growing up before
Right,
just yeah, I would call it around 4, 5, 6 growing up.
Okay.
And I was very wicked because
you were mindful of what you was doing, or you were just reacting?
it was reacting. It was their hard thoughts, I had none. So I would destroy them, then they ain't got none because they ain't got none.
The reason why I asked this, I know you man, I gotta know that too when a man tired of hearing me talk about rats and studies, right? But I got another one, right? So they had a study of like the 70s, right? Where rats, where they would give rats water, and then they would give rats that was water laced with drugs. I think it was cocaine, right? So the drug eventually the rat would like the cocaine induced the cocaine filled water, because eventually it would just cause a chemical change and then they would be dependent on the thing. So they came to this conclusion that eventually the chemical hooks that would be in the brain would just have the cause a dependency, therefore the rat would become addicted to the cocaine, whatever. But then another study was done after that, and it said every time that they used rats in that study, the rat was alone in a room with nothing more than the water. So instead, in this next study after that, they put the rat in what they called the rat fun park. So there was a whole bunch of different fun things in the room, right? There were other rats there that had a slide. There was they had like a one of them.
Good type.
Yeah, so like, that's what you- they had like a little like one of them hamster wheel things. A lot of things that the rat can do, and also take other rats that can be played with. And they also put the cocaine induced water in there. The rat went to the cocaine induced water, but it never really got a dependency, and it never really was attached to a point where it kept coming back to that. Sometimes it would drink that water, sometimes it drink the other water. It doesn't really matter. And what they found from that was that a lot of the meaning and purpose and the fun that it was getting from the other things that was in the fun part kind of took the place for whatever the cocaine would have taken. And they found that, and people know that a lot of people are in very dark places when they're alone. A lot of things are absent, and then eventually, because of that, they look to addiction as opposed to other people who try drugs all the time. A lot of people go and get morphine and that kind of thing from the hospital and thing, and they never really get no attachment to the drug. So I just wanted to hear see
But-
if you see a trend.
But addiction is people don't go to get addicted, you know. I never went ever when I started use drugs, right? My thing to use drugs was to party and to have fun, right? To be among people and enjoy myself. It was never ever in my head. I never wanted to get here. But I got here. And this all comes because of going you use one drug, and then the drug kept, because at the end of the day, right? They got one word that I just comment. There is a word called tolerance. You have a tolerance with a certain drug. When that is gone, then you go and get something, to fulfill this.
You got to graduate.
You know what I'm saying? That is how people move up. And that is then then a lot of then what happens in my now think about it is that then you kind of feed into the heavy the drug is, or the more whatever, then you get hooked. Now cocaine, marijuana, alcohol affects one particular part of the brain. That is the pleasure center, the pleasure. All is about pleasure. So if I'm on crack and I go to rehab for a crack, what happens? I come out, I tell myself I'm going to smoke some weed. The point remains the brain already exposed, that pleasure part already exposed to the crack. So whatever is not coming up to there, and you keep feeling it,
That's what you're
eventually,
judging it on.
Yeah.
it's yes.
Can't give me a break when they have feeling me, yo.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's basically it.
Wow.
I could ask.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Right.
Sir, don't think.
Tell-
Thanks for
tell-
allowing me. Sometimes it's count. on lock. Is there a safe way to do drugs? And
No.
I asked this recently. The US has been trying out some legislation where there's this epidemic of there's a lot of white America too. There's a political thing to be honest, but a lot of people are hooked on narcotics, opiates. Opiates.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
looking
yeah.
for that. And the government does not know what to do. It's a big thing. And this administration has come up with some solutions. One of which is to have safe places to do the
Or
opiates.
or
Right.
you don't same environments.
Safe environments.
Right.
They're coaching it as a way to get clean,
Right.
as an alternative
Right.
journey
Right.
to get clean. Is there a safe scenario to use drugs?
Well, I know you said that there was one point in time there was when they had the heroin.
Heroin?
Heroin
heroin.
step.
Mhm.
They also allow people to go to this particular park and do whatever they do. Because but at the end of the day, I can't tell you every word or don't work because I don't believe in my head is there's no safe way of
Right,
doing
right,
anything.
Right.
Where
Right.
that drugs is coming. Drugs
Okay.
Right.
because some people may one or two may get to come out, but I still believe that you actually enabling and giving them more. It's like you're
Okay.
in other words, you just the people to die,
Right.
basically.
Yeah. Do you think
That's
that
my
your
that's only my
Yeah,
right? That's
you
what
know,
I'm
I
saying. Do you
understand.
think your opinion though is just like mainly influenced by your experience? Because I find it interesting. You keep saying the reason why you use drugs is because you wanted to party, which I personally find it difficult to like associate the two necessarily. Is if I want to party,
So
because if I want
how do you party?
The
Let me,
alcohol.
no, let me have something, right? With drugs, alcohol is a drug.
no, I'm okay. Yeah,
But
you
we
drink
just
at parties, right? But let me explain myself. I don't think that every time I go out, I'm not saying I get out to drink.
that's you.
Right, that's what I'm asking. If it's your personal experience that influences
No,
your answer.
but Kofi, I don't know any. I know a lot of people that said they can't go to a party without drinking.
That is me.
Right. That they
No,
can't.
no.
That what's the point of going
I
if you
I
don't
guess
do
that's
drink?
true.
Correct.
We
I
got a
do
big
not.
drinking culture in Barbados.
I do not, right? I personally do not see why I am going to go out to have fun and don't get high. There's no essence in having fun. They're not getting at that time. Now, I'm like you.
Mm,
So I can go out and have fun and don't want to get high.
right.
And I can, but one of the things that had me in those days because my self-esteem was very low. Therefore, I had to, in order for you to talk to somebody, talk to a woman, I had to. So that was part of the process
Under
of
the
going.
influence.
That's
Interesting.
Now,
interesting.
today, I can go out and dance.
Mhm.
But I don't really go per se because the wife, she goes to Q. I take her to Q.
Right.
When he said he going to dance, right, I was like, oh my god, getting cute.
Yeah.
immediately wife picture.
So I take her to Q. When she ready, she calls me. I pick her up. Now, I don't like socializing. I don't like crowds. I can't be in crowds. Crowds got me claustrophobic.
Okay.
You see, on Saturdays to go to Swansea, it'd be a puzzle. So
Yeah.
I got to go. I got to go on Broad Street.
Right.
Come back here, I know a bag come around.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like.
Yeah.
I can't. So I will go to a reception, and I'm gonna end up saying no. I went to a wedding reception at that place up in St. Lawrence. The place at Church, I don't know what they mean. That got the
Not Barbarians, right?
no.
Barbarians.
I have no idea. Huh?
They're actually
No,
Oh, shoot,
the
show 'em my
place
brains.
that got the stream that got flower. I think it's up by this.
I ain't sure about.
Anyhow,
you
I
right.
like
You ain't got. Yeah, you ain't got.
Well,
You
I
ain't got.
give you. I get it.
You ain't got though.
All right.
I went to this. We had this wedding reception. I go on there, and I go on the bar.
Southern Palms.
No, not Southern Palms.
Okay.
He said shut down.
It takes Southern Palms. It's the place that got the river that ran. It got the stream that run from the stream and run straight in the sea. What was it?
Yeah.
I know.
Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I go in the bar and they said, "Sir, can I have a Sprite?" Okay. This time people come in and rum punch and rum and coke. You know what? I must spend about almost a half an hour there before I'm bring a drink. When I go out, right, you cannot bring a drink open and give it to me. You gotta bring it covered. Right?
Yes.
And to tour the bitters I do not drink. It contains
A lot of alcohol.
44.7% alcohol.
A lot of
Great
alcohol.
water, no. Well, they got no about great water years ago. I did a lot of alcohol. That's why I get baby stop crying. Call it feels nice. Whatever how they feel in their minds. I don't every time I ever buy something and it is new to me. You see that fine print on the ball? I always read that. There was a lady that I got to go. I will be on VOB tomorrow, even between 3 and 4 on the show. She bought. She gave me a bottle of non-alcoholic wine on my second anniversary. I took it and I took it home, and about 5 years after, I went back for the wine to put it to burn out for Christmas. When I took out the bottle and I read the bottle, it said alcohol has been removed. Contain 0.05% alcohol. Now, 0.05% alcohol is not going to affect the behavior in no physical form, but in a psychological mind, it will affect me because I know as long as I know something contains alcohol, I am not to put it in.
Okay.
So then I had to tear that bottle of wine, wrap it in a bottle in a nice little gift parcel, and give it to some person. Because my wife don't drink alcohol, my daughter don't drink alcohol, and I don't drink alcohol.
Okay.
Wow.
So be mindful. I read everything I go. And if the footprint is too small, because I can't see things, I went,
can't
excuse me,
see
sir,
the
or ma'am,
Sir.
can you just give me,
yeah.
right. So
Right. Okay.
coming back now to the diabetic slightly,
Mm-hmm.
that is stress. Then they got the really little things called every use the alcohol, then there's always this point in that I can boom. Just off the bar.
Okay.
So that's that's where I live. But it's no, it is a norm. So it's norm for me to go to market, pick a sign, and read the ball. Don't I care who looking on, right? I do not really buy too much food from outside because I remember one time we went to Sheridan, and this this chicken looked so sweet, glazed. Again,
Right then, you're glazed.
again, I said, Mom, could you tell me what this chicken is that nice little thing made about? She said, well, it's done with rum and little wine and thing and sugar and honey.
They caramelize.
What?
I said, well, now, you know from that time on, I have never ever buy nothing from that place again.
Jeez.
Cause I don't trust them.
Wow.
Right.
So again, I live a life that I got to be on my toes. Cause I got to be very mindful. I also I don't keep friends because I have no friends. I go to work, I go on. I have everything in my house. What I have downstairs in my living room, I have in my bedroom. Stereo sound surround everything I got there. That's where I live. The reason for that, I don't like to go because I find that people that go now to go and they're not going to have fun. They're going to kill. I do not want to just go some players, some everybody come on and blah blah and that's straight bullet coming back.
Okay.
So I stay home. I like being home. I'm comfortable with being home. I don't. If you invite me out to some place that I believe is go, I will go. And that I stay home. Father's there. Let me get a brief on my son here. We're going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you. My son and I have 27 years in church because my son and I only came together about 8 years ago. Right? He and I was apart because he blamed me for a lot of things. before he would say like he would come, he would saw me, Mr. Waithe, or he would like start, right? Likewise, I go my father call. I don't call my father daddy at all, right? I'm gonna start a call. I don't call him by name. I'm gonna start a conversation. And then, however, a Christmas, a December, he came here and we had a long conversation. And from that time on, my son and I started to build a relationship. Today, my sons call me daddy. For Father's Day, that just gone, he, my granddaughter, myself, we've been to this sanctuary in St. Philip.
Oh, with the,
Oh,
like, the
these
animals.
zoo,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
zoo, but yeah.
I can
Mary,
show you.
Mary,
I can
yeah,
show
yeah,
you.
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Mary.
yeah,
That word
yeah.
though.
I can show
That
my
word.
phone.
Yeah, that
That
I had a big boa constrictor around my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And we had fun.
Right.
That is how I live today.
Okay.
I can enjoy fun, like that I don't have to have drink. By that time, I believe that I had to have something in here to make me move. Yes, and I did because I was shy. I feel that if I move, people dancing, so I feel I dancing wrong. So once I go say here, when I dance wrong, no, nobody ain't I ain't checking for me. So I ain't care who checking for me. So that's all how it is, right? So,
We coming to a close, but I think this is actually a good place. Before you, yeah. We coming to a
Yeah,
close
we
for
closing.
sure. Yeah. I got you covered, This man's a busy man, though. This man,
No,
all over
you
the
very
place.
right.
But this is a good place. I would like for you to just say how it makes you feel knowing that you have such a strong relationship with like your son and also your granddaughter. Yeah. That's how it makes you feel.
I am elated. I am happy. I always wanted it. He is my, I would call him my ear, right? He has my name. He named Ronaldo David Wave. My name, I actually is happy that I know that I have a son that acknowledge that he has a father. For all that his father have done all during the years, not that he wanted to do it, but the point is that it happened. And he come to the point now that he understands that. And he likes he actually loves his daddy now.
That's touching.
And
Man.
I feel, it's like, I mean, he's my first son. He's my first child. I always wanted a boy to be first child. And I feel, it's just, I'm just happy.
Jeez,
Laughing,
man.
man.
That's great, man.
Laughing.
That's a good place to close. Listen, David, thank you for coming. I know that many people are going to appreciate this, and
What a story.
yeah, we are very inspired, and we are very happy that you are sharing this story.
Call Marion
And
too.
I call Marion too.
Who been coming?
What? What you talking about? What you talking
Everybody.
about?
All of you.
What you mean? What you mean?
Up and on.
That's all right. Right, you're in good company, man. You're in good. I tell you, you're in good company, my brother.
We got you covered.
We got you covered, man. This is the first. I hopefully not the last. David, I appreciate you. I know the man appreciate you
We
too.
do.
If anybody wants to if anybody has issues and they want to, speak to David, of course you can call Verdant House. And with that being said,
Call me the direct.
Okay.
you say the number. Or?
232-0308.
Okay.
232-0308. I have my cards, and then I will leave.
And ladies, he got a wife, so
Whoa.
you use that number
Whoa.
wisely.
Yeah.
With that being said, I know podcast. We out.
Thanks for watching the INO podcast, Information, Knowledge, Observation. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you soon.